Good afternoon and welcome here to the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour season finale. Pro Shifter on deck. The season started at Speed Sports Racing Park with the beginning of a banner year with Gavin Bailiff scoring the first of what would end up being two major upset victories on the year so far, when in Cincinnati, in similar late stage action, Josh Conker pulled the move off to get it done over Quarantine Russo. But that has led us here to round 3 here at Newcastle Motorsports Park, with 5 drivers all entering this race weekend within 72 points of each other and 420 points up for grabs over the course of the 2 days of on-track official activity following practice. Since then, well, there has been a lot that has gone on and a lot to catch everyone up about. Here's a look live from Newcastle Motorsports Park, high above the facility. A record-setting Summer Nationals weekend with myself, Xander Clements, Justin Prince, and Caleb Vieska on the call. Our Pro Shifter pilots are just about ready for action, and they are chasing, well, 2 drivers specifically. Billy Musgrave entered this weekend 2 years ago with a serious shot at the title, and he came up just a couple of points short in the way the positions fell. But in that same weekend, he had put it on the pole, and here, this weekend, entering a little ways back in second, has had a methodical charge up the leaderboard to put himself in a prime position to score the first ever Pro Shifter Championship for an American-made chassis brand, his very own brand he launched, welding the karts himself out of the Southwest here in the U.S., the factory karts. But they've been chasing still one young New Zealander in particular, Jay Irwin, 16 years old, Pro Shifter season number 3, just about to turn 17, and the young Kiwi has been everyone's target. Every single session this year, he has been a factor. But funny enough, he has not yet topped the leaderboard in any specific one. The consistency that he has displayed with podiums, top 5s and top 10s, has him leading by a slim margin. But when you go to Newcastle, the Magic Man, AJ Myers, is always one to keep an eye on. He is the most decorated Summer Nationals race winner of anyone in the entire 300-plus driver paddock. That said, it was all going to plan this morning when he was leading the pre-final up until a brake failure hit him in the second half of the session, and what looked to be a potential walk-off championship run from 4th in the points, entering 71 markers back to now a deficit and a deep starting spot in the lineup. However, the one bit of good news for AJ is the pre-final is weighted against your score in the heat races, and he was our Heat 1 winner, our Heat 2 runner-up, and overall he was able to still, with the DNFs and attrition, and by running as far up at the front as he did when he went out, end up with a decent score in that pre-main, and he lost some points and lost what could have been the championship lead. However, he now finds himself in a great position to fight from. Those, again, are 3 of the drivers that are in the hunt. We mentioned Josh Conker, the round 2 winner, flew a bit under the radar back at Speed Sports Racing Park for round 1 of the season, but he was on another level up at Cincinnati the year before when we visited the Motorsports Country Club in Batavia, Ohio. Well, he was fast, but he had a rib injury that hurt him throughout that weekend. He was under the weather, and he didn't really get to show how good he is around that place. And the Canadian entered the weekend with a surprise 3rd place spot in the standings, and a good run this week, albeit maybe not the highest. Still gives him a fantastic chance at the championship. And Mateus Morgado, the reigning champ, had a DNF in Heat 1. We'll get to all of that, but first, as the grid begins to fill, we'd like to ask all in the paddock, please rise and remove your hats as we send it down to recording artist Mandy Goldman for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that banner yet wave o'er the land of free and the home of the brave.
And the fireworks and the bursting in the air you heard in the background will be a whole lot more of the story later on today. But the fireworks on the racetrack are just getting set to go here for this Pro Shifter main event from Newcastle Motorsports Park. Let's take a look as the layout that these 44 record-setting turnout here for the Pro Shifter category in the KZ era have to tackle. 18 turns in total for your kart class track preview here, starting off with the finish line where they'll start one turn prior at turns 1, 2, and 3. A couple of 90-degree corners, turn 2, turn 3. Decent passing spots even at turn number 4. We've seen a lot of racing as well through turns 5 and 6, and then, as commonly known, the cell tower hairpin. Turn number 7, a major zone there that you've got to get back to driver's left because you've got back-to-back left-hand full throttle kinks. Turn 8 and turn 9, you'll see the Pro Shifters launching over the curbing. Then turn 10 and turn 12, 2 more major braking zones on the circuit, and the infield shark fin is the new addition to this year's layout. We ran this direction last year with an alternate start and finish line, but this year going back to the original orientation of this storied facility with that extra chicane halfway down the straightaway from turn 12 to turn 16. It's provided some entertainment, some action, and it'll tighten things up midway through that straight in the run to 16, but then you'll get the shifters up to 90-plus miles an hour when they exit 16, hit full throttle through the hump in the dog leg at 17 and all the way down to the final turn at turn 18, and they have to make it through that corner to get to the finish line before the checkers fly, whereas in years past, the finish line's been on the run down by turn 18. That's where the start will be for their main and the start for all single-speed classes that will follow as well. But this year, the finish line going back to where it was originally placed has provided a lot more to talk about when it comes to the end of any given race session. Jay Irwin, though, would love to see that from a good spot. The win is not needed, but it would make things a lot easier. That said, he's still got to fight from a little further back on the grid. He'll roll from 8th with a slim, albeit still holding points lead over the All-American badass himself, Mr. 5-time Super Nationals champion Billy Musgrave, and the Factory Karts machine, the number 8, is staring down an opportunity to get the number 1 plate. He said this championship would mean more than any other title he's accrued in his storied career. One of the veterans on the grid, and joining him this year, Josh Conker wasn't sure whether he was going to even get the chance to get behind the wheel. And the link up with Carlos at Carblos Racing Engines and Maranello USA all of a sudden has him staring down a fully funded seat and more in 2026 if he's able to make it happen. He's been able to balance his day job and moonlighting as a pro karting driver here throughout this season, and he's taken that all the way up into the championship fight in the headline category. Mateus Morgado, though, for him, history could look a little bit different in 2025 if he could pull off this title. The reigning champ won it last year. He won the Winter Series, and he had a great chance at the Super Nationals win for the trifecta, but he came up short. This year, Winter Series again, and a good shot at the championship from where he rolls off, and still a chance to make up some more ground on his teammate, the young Kiwi. They're all going to be starting behind Wild Thing himself, though. Andrew Boydeshow's return to the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour has been, well, maybe expected for him, a little bit unexpected for probably some others. He's starting from the front of the grid, winning your pre-final earlier this morning, and a fantastic run through the heats to that point as well. Jay Irwin, on the other hand, again, P8 on the grid, outside of row number 4. So much to dive into here, Justin, with all of the moments as the drivers get set in just a few seconds. They'll, of course, be given that command to fire engines here. Final thoughts from you here before we get them all fired off.
An intense championship battle with drivers like Danny Formel that could be a bit of a factor when it comes to the battle for the race win here today to shuffle things up. But for these championship drivers today, it's going to be the one question. Are you going to be able to keep it clean and keep yourself in position to battle with how tight these championship points are? Any slip-ups between Irwin and Musgrave can swing the points dramatically here today and open the door for Conker, Morgado, or Myers to be able to stride on in and take this championship. This can go so many different ways with how tight these top 5 are especially.
One of the oldest drivers on the grid, 3 points back. One of the youngest on the grid leads the title fight. And not only are the top 10 in control, the fight for the top 10 Circle of Champions fund as well. Here we go. 44 Pro Shifter KZ power plants come to life, and we take you through a brief look at the starting grid. Your championship top 5 that all realistically have a massive shot at the title. Musgrave from 3rd, Morgado from 4th, Conker from 5th, Irwin from 8th, and AJ Myers from 11th, but there's plenty more storylines to go through, and Caleb Vieska has quite a few of them. Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. I was to Jay Irwin a whole lot before this race. He was going through every single scenario, going through every situation he needs to win this race, and it all led down to one, finishing ahead of the number 8 of Billy Musgrave.
And again, that's what it is. It's a head-to-head fight between those two. Any attrition or bad luck further for both opens the door for the likes of Myers, Morgado, and Conker to play spoiler. Brent Cruz starts inside the top 10. A busy weekend for that young man, 17 years young. ARCA Menard Series starts, Truck Series starts, and a whole lot more in his budding NASCAR career, returning to the Pro Shifter scene where he made a massive impact, starting his career even younger than Irwin at the ripe age of 13. Aiden Rudolph leads that Rookie of the Year points, going on that point as well by just a little bit over Gage Korn, who rolls back from 19th, one of 2 14-year-olds in the field. In fact, it's an all-teenage row 10 with Korn on the inside and young Truly Adams on the outside. But again, this is just page 1 of 3. 44 drivers make up the total starting lineup. Gavin Bailiff starting from 21st. It's not been a weekend he wanted. A clutch lever failure for him in the pre-final has him buried in the field. And keep your eye as well on Adrian Renedin. He was running inside the top 5 in both heats yesterday, but then was disqualified post-race. Had a black flag that took him out in heat number 2, and then issues beyond the racetrack then had him excluded for the day. He drove from 44th on the grid in the pre-final to 9th. Combining that with the last place effort from Saturday puts him 23rd on the lineup. And the final few to go across your screen, all the way back to the last row, Vaughn Beasley on the inside, the privateer on the TB cart, and Andrew Byrne for Catalyst Driver Development. Andrew Boydeshow, the big guy, Danny Formal, your front row, as the Pro Shifters begin to file into their boxes. We'll keep tabs on the championship as well as the fight for the top 10 overall in the point standings and the lengthened main events this year. 20 laps here around this 1.2-mile layout, 18-turn course at Newcastle Motorsports Park is going to test the drivers' physical fitness and their mental ability to be able to manage the tires. For the majority of the field, they're on sticker Avinco Reds, but they had a second set to use at any point. Brent Cruz opted to use it in the pre-final. How will he hold up from the 5th row as we go all the way back and get the all clear from the SuperKarts USA officials for the final time in the 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour? Pro Shifter is green. A clean getaway and a massive hole shot for the big guy. Danny Formal leads out of turn number 3. Boydeshow right to him though, bringing the fight all the way down to turn 4. Morgado looking to go down the inside with Russo, and side by side for the Carblos machines there. Conker on the outside, Musgrave on the inside, Russo to 3rd, Musgrave into 5th, and there is the points leader Jay Irwin around the outside in the cell tower as they drag race. Kyle Wick is going to get both of them now.
Nice move by Wick to be able to make the pass as they make their way on through. One driver off. Oh my goodness.
Jay Irwin off the racetrack at the kink here in the first lap. He's able to gather it back up, but he'll be vulnerable now down in 12 as we check in with some of the rest of the field through the pack. Here's the blue helmet there. Jay Irwin in the 6, sliding in line just in front of Brent Cruz. He was staring down a 6th place. Now where does he fall as he rides in line behind the all-black GFC entry of Jacob Gulick, the number 2 plate from last year. Then Conquer, and AJ Myers has already gone around Irwin as they rocket down the front straightaway. Here's a look outside of Conquer and Myers. Nowhere to go there and no gap. They were not going to give him an inch. And the same could be said right here. Morgado knows to win the title, he's got multiple factors that need to fall. And Billy Musgrave is one of those, as he now will inherit the live points lead at the end of lap 1 with Russo in tow and Kyle Wick there. Formal and Boydeshow trying to get away. Andrew's been able to steal the lead.
An interesting race so far, to say the very least. Right now, Irwin needs to be able to get back on the loud pedal, though. Gain some spots and fast. Wants a chance at the championship. Myers doing a good job so far, marching ahead. Able to gain about up to 7th spot as we go. Live points, though. Musgrave, great start. Keeping it clean. Morgado would actually leapfrog Irwin if this race was to finish, but there's still plenty to go here.
At this point here for AJ Myers, he needs a Hail Mary run. Musgrave to fade, and he needs to get by Morgado, Wick, Russo, his teammate in Boydeshow who leads the way, and Formal as well. And all of them up to full song down the back straightaway. Problems for Jay Irwin. The points leader has a problem, and a mechanical failure takes the kid out down the long straightaway. He was battling with Josh Conquer for the 9th position, and the championship hopes go up in smoke on lap 2.
He had been so confident in the press conference in terms of his championship hopes today. Well, it's just gone up in a flame. Unbelievable, to say the very least. And Irwin, full of disappointment in the steering wheel right now.
It would have been an incredible story for this family that sacrifices so much to travel here from New Zealand for every round. And he had done such a great job all year, but every session you have to be on it with how stacked this grid is. And that's right now going the way of Mateus Morgado, the number 1 plate from last year, trying to make up for the Heat 1 woes that put him back. He's on the charge to Formal, who's on the charge to Boydeshow down the backstretch, coming to the end of lap number 3. Long way to go here, boys, and we've got a lot of them up at the front.
You know, right now, just trying to stay single filed out, trying to make sure things don't compress with some aggressive battling here. Musgrave just needs to be able to keep things clean, keep things in rhythm, and then he'll be comfortable with the championship. Everybody else just playing the patience game here as they sort themselves out. Right now, Formal just waiting patiently and just trying to see will there be an opening to maybe make a move later on. Doesn't need to do it now. There's 20 laps after all. There's no major urgency to be able to force it.
So let's paint the picture a little bit right now. Mateus Morgado is 3rd. That's 170 points and only a 10-point improvement. He's 44 back. Even if he got to the lead and the win, he'd need the fastest lap or for someone else to get to the bumper of Musgrave and shuffle him back to 4th or to 5th. And here he goes. Morgado for 2nd. Over Formal. Consider it done here as we work down the long straight towards Boydeshow. Mateus Morgado and Andrew Boydeshow have already had 1 meeting this year. It was not all too nice. Let's see what things look like now as the number 1 bears down.
Morgado, mind you, has the fastest lap right now. Mind you, there was some contact earlier in the weekend involving some of these drivers. Still plenty to battle for as Morgado looks for a place to be able to go for the race lead and try and pull off and away.
Indeed, the Heat 1 moment for Mateus Morgado that forced the DNF was while battling with Andrew Boydeshow for 3rd, and it sidelined him. It broke both of the tie rods on the front end of the PSL Biro Art. No doubt that's in the back of his mind right now, that if he wants to get by the race leader, he's got to be very careful. It has to be decisive, and there has to be no way to answer back instantly because, again, Andrew also this weekend, just like Formal, is only focused on the race win, and that's what he wants here on his return to the Pro Tour. This time by a quarter of the way in. Musgrave looks okay, maybe not super strong as Wick closes in. Boydishow covering low. Here we go! Morgado to the lead. Over under from Boydishow, and he'll feed him a wheel on the exit.
Pushed him off into the grass just about, got some right side tires into the green stuff. All checking up for Mal as well, and that's exactly what Musgrave needed to keep himself closer into drafting distance. It's a little bit of shuffling and squabbling. One more battle like that, and Musgrave will be right on top of them as a result of that. So Morgado seems to want to go. He's got the pace to push, just has to find a way to go. Here's the replay.
Taking a look on the inside there. Morgado deep. Boydishow was ready. And then at the end of the corner, granted, again, Morgado was getting ready to get back in line, and Andrew was quick to slam the door shut. And now Mateus has to spend this lap cleaning the tires back off and remounting a counterattack for that one. So first attempt at the lead, unsuccessful. Had it for all of maybe 20 feet. Still behind is Myers. He's working on Quarantine Russo for 6 currently, and it looks like he's got him. So P6 now for the number 3. He's still not out of it yet, as Kyle Wick is looking to shuffle Musgrave back down the straight. Billy's going to let him go. No shot in the championship, but Kyle Wick is still trying to stay inside that leader circle fund for the top 10.
Yeah, at this point, I think Wick just had a moment of saying, I don't think we're closing up fast enough. Morgado with a big dive, able to make it stick through 4. What a send. Contact right back.
Boydishow puts the chrome horn to Morgado, and now they're stacked up behind the 78. He will not be denied, and whether or not clean or dirty, it doesn't matter. It would only end up bringing a penalty to the 78 machine. It wouldn't put Morgado back in front of Formal. So noted, watching along, and the same for everyone else. Danny Formal, perfect spot to witness that. What does he do now with the chance to challenge Boydishow, who has the pack lined up deep behind him? Andrew, Danny, Morgado, Wick, Musgrave, Myers, Russo, and here comes Jacob Gulick, and Josh Conker is closing in as well if he can continue to put some laps now with a gap as Formal, high, low, inside, turn 18, new leader, the big guy, Danny Formal takes over.
And you see the replay on the right side, just a little bit of contact on the entry through 5 and 6, ends up sending Morgado wide. Able to stick it despite going to the marbles. Now he's got Boydishow lined up, giving it a little bit of contact back now through 4. Trying to find a way to move his way quickly as they rumble their way off to turn 7. They're all getting bottled up and coiled up. This is exactly what I predicted. One more send would cause this, and we're seeing everybody bundled together in this pack.
Andrew Boydishow is determined to try and keep Morgado behind him, it seems, still defending a bit, and that's given Danny Formal a nice lead and an opportunity to build on that. Musgrave, trying to play conservative, has fallen back now behind Quarantine Russo, but no doubt he's still keeping his eye on where the number 1 is, and now he's got to keep tabs on where AJ Myers is. The updated standings as they run: Morgado 18 back, Myers 60 back, and rapidly gaining ground as he continues to push towards the front. Here comes a run for Kyle Wick to the bumper of Morgado. Not quite close enough in 18, and Formal will lead at the end of lap 8.
Yeah, right now, at this point, Morgado needs spots. He needs to get up to the race lead and or get the fastest lap on top of it. Gavin Bailiff currently controls that 10-point swing. He swings his way to the inside. Able to pass Boydishow. Boydishow again with contact. That pushes Morgado wide again. A couple more spots lost.
A massive swing now as Morgado gives the bumper to AJ. AJ Myers rooted out of the way, and the gloves are off now. He knows that the Magic Man is getting a little bit of extra help from his teammate. Boydishow, all of the drivers included, as Kyle Wick now sends it on the inside. GFC to first and second. But in the drivers' meeting this weekend, Tom Kutcher, the owner of SuperKarts USA, was very clear there was going to be no team orders, and if there was, there'd be some severe penalties. So Boydishow, with a move like that, will absolutely draw the ire of the officials. They've allowed the pros to settle a lot amongst themselves, but that move there, that might be a little bit more than what Bo Barfield and crew are comfortable with. For now, the fight rages on. Kyle Wick up to second, trying to chase his teammate in Formal, and Morgado again goes to work on Boydishow, this time for third.
Yeah, just trying to reset once again. Myers, quick pass on Russo to be able to do so quickly. And right now, give Morgado credit. He's not been willing to give to Curlemore. He's been trying to do things cleanly to make these passes right now. Just taking his time, knowing how aggressive that 78's been every time he's trying to get a pass back on him in this run, especially up through 5.
The one thing for Morgado, he hasn't had this much space out back as what he has right now. He knows that he's only got a little bit of time before the pack will naturally close up if Boydisho defends. This might be the best opportunity if he can reset and get a huge run down the long straightaway towards Boydisho to make some magic happen, because again, he's had to do it all under braking and into another major brake zone. He looks back, and it's the number 3 plate of Myers right there. So as they go halfway, here's Morgado again, looking into, not quite. He's got a massive run through the 90s. He's tried twice now in turn 4, and Boydisho has answered with force. And now Andrew's going to cover it off just a little bit going into the corner and try to back him up some more. Here comes AJ Russo. Again, Josh Conker's trying to get closer to the main pack here, but he's not quite there. And they all stack up again behind the 78 machine.
Yeah, right now, at this point, if there's a move, you want to get it done pretty soon, because they are slowly seeing Myers and Russo both knock down time by a couple of kart lengths per sector right now. They're poked there by Morgado. Couldn't get a low on side, couldn't get the run. Now it's lined up once again, trying to back up the corner through the shark fin to be able to try and reset. Myers is there.
Yeah, Morgado did not get out of the shark fin. Might have missed the shift just a little bit. Here comes AJ trying to make up for the mechanical failure in the pre-final. He's got to run right to Morgado's rear. He'll look low. Morgado knows he's there. AJ ends up covering off from Russo as Morgado sends it deep in the brake zone. 11 down, 9 to go now as we work lap number 12. And Kyle Wick, by the way, is tracking down his teammate Danny Formal out front while this battle continues to rage on for third. Now Morgado starting to put a little bit of the bumper to Boydisho, but he didn't really move him out of the way there, didn't hammer him, just misjudged it. He's trying to be respectful to the defensive driving that we're seeing out of Andrew here. And again, Quarantine Russo, also no dog in the fight for the title, but he needs a good finish to put the Catalyst group into the leader circle fund, as after that second place on-track result, he was disqualified in Cincinnati. He is outside the cut line entering this session. Now, as they run, he would be in, I believe, and Jacob Gulick would be on the bubble, Adrian Renedin and Michael Avancino on the outside looking in. Here's your live points as well. Musgrave by 28 with the current standings. Myers still 60 back, needs to make up some ground. Here's a run. Morgado with a huge run down the straight, looks, sees AJ to the right, Boydisho there, he'll send him off, and he goes off as well. Morgado sends Andrew Boydisho into the wall, and he rejoins, and that one a long time in the making over the course of the first 12 laps. Mateus Morgado says that's enough, championship be damned, you're not getting a podium today. Boydisho, the pole setter, into the wall.
Wow is all you can really say to that. Sent well off the racing surface, and Morgado all the way back to 10th position from that. A wild decision to say the very least. Musgrave able to jump all the way to 5th from that sequence, is in a grand spot now for this championship.
But now, AJ Myers, 3 seconds you've got to make up to get to the 2 GFCs up front. Can you get there? And with Musgrave now having company starting to bear down on the doorstep, can AJ Myers steal this title away as Musgrave has to deal with the velocity sodi of Adrian Renedin, who, by the way, is up double-digit positions already. Rolled from 23rd up and into the 9th spot and digging as he's now gotten past both Josh Conker and Gavin Bailiff. No dog in the championship fight, but he wants to try and stay in the top 10 and get the best result possible here. His first season stateside. Now as he bears on Musgrave.
And Renedin still picking off spot after spot. Takes one from Musgrave for good measure in turn 7. Renedin is flying and cutting his way quickly through this pack. Last time through, Renedin was very fast. In fact, He was 6/10 off the pace the leader, but he's quicker than everybody else in the top 5, making pass after pass here to be able to make sure he gets himself a good points finish to end off the season.
I know it broke Danny Formel's heart that the schedule didn't quite work, and the deal to get to run the full Pro Tour didn't work for the second consecutive year. He was in the championship last year going to round 2, couldn't make it stick as Russo goes by Myers for 3rd and gets by the Magic Man, who's starting to lose some ground to the top 2. But for Formel, the 2023 SuperKarts USA Supernats champion, 4-timer, a winner in Vegas. He was a favorite for last year's title with Rawls Performance Group. Didn't get to try and give it a run. And then this year, the schedule didn't work to get him for the whole season. But now, as we take a look back at the deciding moment here for Morgado's championship and the podium, a massive send to Boydeshow, and it knocked the front nose cone into the asphalt for Morgado as it ground out, and he couldn't turn either. But after all of the bump and runs, 2 of them, and the second one a little bit bigger than the last, too many rocks thrown Morgado's way, and he threw a boulder at Andrew Boydeshow and sidelines the number 78. But as we check back in with the on-track activity, 6 laps to go, coming to 5 to go this time. And with Formal's lead, holding even now, back to Kyle Wick. Wick was gaining for quite a bit. Now he is faded a little. Last time by, he picked a 10th back up. And it's a numbers game of hundreds between the 2 GFCs out front. Russo holding on to 3rd. With a big effort here today, this could give a little bit of an extra boost and help that Catalyst driver development rig make the long trek back to the Pacific Northwest before they gear up for the Super Nationals. And for Myers, it'd be a bittersweet ending here, but there's still points on the line, and who knows what could happen to Billy Musgrave. He may or may not be able to see what's happening behind him, but you can see he kind of looked to the left there, checking in of where the number 8-6 sits. He's behind Gulick now in 7th. Gavin Bailiff is close, and so is Conker, and as well, closing up, home race for Charlie Steins and the Factory Fury GP Kart squad. 11th here for the surprise Super Bowl winner from Texas. He is closing as well. If any of those positions shift late in the going, all of a sudden Musgrave's lead of 50 could start to evaporate down, but he's trying to keep it up there with a run towards Gulick now into I-70.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit of a bump there, actually, trying to push Gulick forward. Here we go, trying to make the poke to the inside. Gets the overlap, Musgrave peels his way back into 6th spot.
Billy Musgrave now with a spot closer towards the front. The driver's behind, riding there. Look at that. Morgado is back in the mix of the pack. He's been able to charge his way past Conker. Next up's Bailiff, who's going to bring the fight to Gulick. Gavin Bailiff trying to salvage the weekend from 21st on the grid. Mark him up to 7th now, and still moving on the TKG Bureau Art. A win off a last corner move against Billy Musgrave in Houston, Texas for round 1. Put Gavin Bailiff in command of the championship, and his home race in Cincinnati didn't go well as Morgado gets by Gulick now. But he hasn't still had a good weekend here at round 3 either, and it sadly pushed him further down the standings. He'll be inside the top 10 this race. Last year robbed him of the Leaders Circle Fund. And now Danny Formal leading Kyle Wick, hunting him down. 3 laps to go, and these Pro Shifter main events, an extra couple laps over the rest of the sessions you'll see today. The tires are roasting, the drivers are tired, and Danny Formal led 24 of 25 laps last year at opening day, and Mateus Morgado was able to pull a move on him with 3 corners to go to steal the win. Here comes Kyle Wick, his teammate this year, trying to do the same.
Wick taking a shower line that time through 7. Now loses a little bit of ground, working the way up the hillside through 9. Tries to line things back up, trying to send it a little bit deeper into the braking zones right now. Try and make it stick and chip away the gap that way. Takes a shower line this time through 12. Now back heading over to the shark fin. Once again, just trying to make sure he makes things close up, get the gap chipped away bit by bit. It's been working bit by bit throughout this run. Formel hits a bit of the curbing. Still within 2 kart lengths is Wick, trying to get the draft and line things up to close up as they come up to 2 to go.
2 laps remaining for the entire GFC squad. No matter what happens, this is still shaping up to be a major, major breakthrough. In the last 2 years, there have been so many close calls, including the Super Nationals a couple of years ago when they put it all up to the front of the field and were fighting for the win in the podium. And since then, since their last double major Pro Tour win with Jacob Gulick in Utah, it has been a struggle. They have shown brightness. They have shown speed. Kyle Wick's even won a heat race this season. But to have a 1-2 run in this fashion, 5 seconds up on the field, it could mean a lot. But Kyle Wick and Danny Formal, they both want to be the one to deliver the #1 spot to the crew, to Gary Carlton, Sonny Cervelli, and the entire GFC family. And as they head out of the shark fin, the white flag will wave this time. Kyle Wick, a former Pro Tour champ. Danny Formal just got his first IMSA GTD win. He's trying to now back it up with a Pro Shifter win. They're going to drag race down the back straightaway. Kyle Wick to the high side, not there.
Able to get the pole, but able to line back up quickly. Formal trying to defend final time around here at Newcastle. These drivers still keeping close. Back to the defensive layer, to the inside of 4. Wick trying to go for the crossover. Peaks now to his left. Tries to get some overlap for 5 and 6. Doesn't get it quite yet.
Danny Formal back low again in the cell tower. He's parking the bus everywhere he can, trying to make sure he gets the better launch up the gear range, out of the heavy brake zones. Now Wick a little too far back for turn 12. Formal center track going in. Wick with a wider arc trying to carry some speed. Only a couple more opportunities remain. It won't happen in 12.
It's going to be tough to be able to make this pass. If he's able to line something up, it could get close.
Final time out of the shark fin. Kyle Wick is close. Closer still. Down to I-70. He's going to gear up for the run. He'll get close. A little bobble mid-corner. He's still got the slipstream. Formal leads. Down to the inside. Wick finds a nose. Not there. Formal low. Wick high. Final turn. Danny Formal wins the Summer Nationals. And Billy Musgrave further back. P8. Morgado ahead. It will not matter. For the first time in the Pro Tour history, an American chassis is champion. Billy Musgrave, 33 years young, one of the oldest veterans on the grid. Finally, the last remaining accolade for Billy Musgrave has been ticked off the list. He is the 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour champion.
A stellar season, and it all comes on a brand new chassis. He was proud of all the work being put in with the new systems, and now he'll get the chance to burn it out. GFC going for dual burnouts as they knock their way to the cones for the dog leg. It's GFC's day. It's Billy Musgrave's day. What could have been for many of the others, as some discuss things down pit road. AJ Myers did as best as he could. Still a top 5 run here today here at NCMP. Congratulations all around for Billy Musgrave as he takes the trek down to the tech line. Big day for factory karts. This builds a ton of momentum for their entire program here with this performance, and being able to, as a veteran, get a title. Some celebrations with some of the fellow drivers.
the helmet off, and it can begin to sink in. Billy Musgrave, that must have been some of the most nerve-wracking 20 laps you've ever driven in your storied career. Talk to me about what is going through your head right now.
I don't even know. I'm speechless. I mean, we didn't make any changes from the pre-final. We knew the rain was coming in. Oh my goodness. I don't think it's hit yet. Yeah, obviously we were not fast. I was worried we were going to be overgripped like we were in qualifying. So I went a little high on pressure to try to get away from the chaos at the start. And it worked, you know what I mean? I mean, we got out, got into third for a little while, sat there, and I knew by about lap 7, 8, like the tires were going to go away. The chassis started hopping. So I had to start flicking the car into a couple corners, get it to rotate. And then by the last 6, 7 laps, the tires were just gone. But that's us just learning the new chassis. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know where we ended up in the top 10. Obviously, you want to win these things by winning the races and coming out on top. But that was just a lesson in race management and kart management, and I think we learned a lot about the setup in those 20 laps.
This guy doesn't need to be in Master. He's the pro champion.
Now I can retire and go to Masters.
Good job, man. Proud of you.
Dude, you were so fucking fast.
It was one of those good races. Good job, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
Proud of you. We'll talk to Danny here in a moment. What a performance for him. But Billy, to let you sign it off, talk to me about the journey. This is now the pinnacle so far in the factory karts journey, your journey with it, and who all you'd like to thank and what it all means.
I mean, everybody that's been with us from the start. My wife for putting up with me through the long nights and being away, especially in Phoenix the last 6, 7 months. It's not been easy. It's been a lot of time away from home and a lot of late nights. Carlos and Carlos Racing Engines. Man, the power was just unreal this whole weekend. And then Justin Stefani, he came in a couple months ago, basically restructured the whole business, basically checked all our boxes, got everything lined up, and we came out and to be able to clinch this off. This was always the goal. Even if we didn't win the race, the goal was to learn the car and manage the points and see where we would end up. Obviously, after yesterday morning, we were not looking at the championship at all. Kind of knew that we would have a long shot, but we just put our heads down, and we just stuck to the process. Listened to what the car was telling us, and made really good progress in those 2 heats and the pre-final. Yeah, and then we put the tires on, and it went the wrong way. But that's racing. That stuff happens, and then as a driver, you just got to try to get it to the finish line.
Congratulations, Billy. You're the 2025 SuperKarts USA Pro Tour champion.
Thank you so much.
We'll send it over to Caleb Vieska for our next.
Xander, I'm standing by here with Mateus Morgado. We obviously saw what happened on the racetrack. Talk about it. Talk about that race.
It's really sad, man. When you battle all week, all year for a championship, and then comes some guy in the last round of the championship and try to destroy your race. 3 times I went to the first position and got taken out. Yesterday, Renaudin from Saudi got a black flag for something that was not even this bad, and then now these things happen while you're fighting for the leads. It's not what we want in the championship. It's such a great race. Everyone watching from all over the world. We are professionals here, and that's our job. That's not racing, not how they should tolerate drivers to race like that.
All focus now on Supernats?
Yeah, definitely. Supernats, a new game. Everything starts from the zero, so hope we can get there.
Thank you, Mateus.
Thank you.
All right, Danny Formal, taking a minute. Man, you said to me right before the interview, the races are too long. But talk to me about the return this weekend, the lineup with GFC as well. You start the year in Friday so fast, and then to have that weekend just not materialize. But then this weekend, good, better. And you and Kyle Wick were more than 5 seconds up over the field by the 3/4 mark. Tell me about it.
First of all, just want to say thank you to Gary for believing in Kyle and I and this whole program. It's not easy to come against these factory teams as a individual, right? We see Billy Musgrave do it, and GFC kind of started this trend of creating your own go-kart, your own team, and trying to become champions. He did it his first year, so obviously his standards are super high as being one of the best drivers in the history of America. So to be here with him, it feels amazing. Texas, yeah, it was a disaster in a way of showing we're the fastest for about 11 sessions in a row or something, because we started practicing on Wednesday. I know it wasn't official, but these mechanics are pretty good with their stopwatches, and we were just dominant from day one. And went to qualify. When SKUSA has over 2,000 sets of tires a weekend, there's going to be an anomaly, and we got one of those. And unfortunately, we fell back to like 17th in qualifying. So kind of in the back foot there, but we take that, throw it in the garbage, and we're here just to develop this go-kart. I'm not here for the championship, develop it for the biggest race of the year, which is Super Nats, right? This is the race that I love, the race that Gary's won as a driver twice. I've won it as a driver 4 times, and it would be fantastic. I think it would be the first time in history that a team owner, winner, and a driver can win Super Nats. So rainy on Sweet Tech, I don't even know what to say. I've never felt power like that. It was Kyle and I just we grabbed 6th gear, and it was like DRS open. And me being a tall guy, right? Even though I'm a lot skinnier now, I'm still pretty big in the go-kart. So I'm just so happy, so thankful. I'm really exhausted. I've lost so much weight. Not so much for karting, but for GTD and IMSA, there is no weight for the driver. So if you're 120 pounds, you race against a 190 pounder, you have a big advantage. So I'm down about 33 pounds since this time last year. So my body's not used to it. I'm pretty beat up. My back is pretty shot. But now I have a race next week. I have a test tomorrow. So get everything ready and go celebrate with Gary. I'm so proud of this team, and yeah, this is the beginning.
Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you so much.
That's Danny Formel, folks. We're back to, so we're going to be getting ready to switch over. Okay, Junior.
Yes, indeed. KA Jr., in fact, underway for these drivers. Pettit with a good start over the rest of the field as we make our way through sector number 2. Pettit has Malcutt all over the back end.